Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Round 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Let's Go. We're going over Let's Go's defense. They are 49 million operating in Diamond 1. And they've got a really cool room number 4 defense that has been working really well. Now, we do have a super efficient counter for it, but where they're operating at, Let's Go's showing us the results. He's taxing their brain and their roster by spreading out their master key teams, making them think or even overthink what to do about stuff, and his opponents are making mistakes because of it. So stay tuned for that room number 4, which we thought was a really interesting team. Definitely not unbeatable by any means. There is no defense that I know of that can keep someone from full clearing if they have the right things in play. However, room number 1 is one of my favorites. It's the Secret Defenders with Noir. Make sure your Noir has the passive T forward. We like the placement here because Noir usually dies first, so it's gap placement between Hardlight and the rest of the team. Noir goes first. Everybody jumps in there because of the Striker ISO attack. And the room rules, and it just deletes people if they don't know how to handle it. You can use a Masters of Evil if you want to be very sure. You can use Masters of Evil APOC. You can also use stuff like Darkhold stops the assist. You can use New Warriors with Echo in place of, I believe, Dagger. That stops the assist, allows you to survive long enough to start doing some damage to the team and doing your own assist kills. But this is a team that requires pretty specific counters, and in Diamond, people are starting to understand how those work, but at least you're limiting your opponent on what they can do. This is a team done right. I'm going to give this one an A. Over here in room number 2 is the Pegasus team. Now, Kestrel is an amazing plug-and-play character for offense. The team is an amazing team for offense, can handle a lot of stuff, especially if they're big enough to survive a team's opener and they start taking their turns. They can delete a lot of stuff, so we don't like them in 2. We want to replace this with Infinity Watch. Regardless of the size of Infinity Watch, it's going to take a loss, but it's going to take more turns to kill this. Because the thing is, even though this is a super powerful team, their primary counter, which is basically Eternals and a bunch of speed, blows them up so efficiently and quickly. Your opponent gets a really good score off of this team, which you could be using to get a really good score on your opponent's team. So let's get this out of here. I think this is bad news. In lower levels, if you happen to have a bigger Pegasus team, this might work. But again, you're relying on your opponent to make a mistake, and you don't want to do that. So we didn't see a lot of other places in this defensive lineup where Eternals would be slotted. And so they just Eternals this with some speed, and it goes away, and you kind of take a loss in the points there. So let's get this out of here. Put Infinity Watch in there. Infinity Watch is going to absorb a lot of hits and get you a little bit better efficiency score against your opponent. For me, this is kind of a D. I really don't like seeing such powerful characters wasted here in room 2. In room 3, again, this is a team that I was very, very disappointed with. Now, I like Nova, but the rest of his team is garbage. Even in War, it's Nova plus his friends. I don't like this team, especially in Crucible. They've got no place other than Nova being used on hybrid offensive counters. So we want to get this out of here. What we want to go with is a Black Order with Quicksilver replacing Corvus Glaive. Thanos can be invested in pretty heavily because he's kind of the motor of that defense. It's not something that's going to hold, but it's going to net you some points. Whereas this one can be beaten by a lot of different things in Crucible. It's not as scary as you think, even with a nice big Nova. It's just not that exciting. The diamonds on the dog is such a travesty. Obviously, those had to have come from a random pull because nobody in their right mind would be putting 2 diamonds on Cosmo, as wonderful a dog as she is. So for me, this is like a D-. I think Nova's better for offense. And like I said, Black Order, Quicksilver is a great team to replace it with. All right, room 4, what was really exciting, and we talked about this a lot. This is super scary. We saw Master Key team after Master Key team come in here and fail, and it just doesn't work. So what's going on here is that both Vol and Super Scroll are putting out those exposed, which eventually gives Vol enough time to do her ultimate and revive somebody. You've got Beta Ray Bill, who has a reflexive taunt that helps to allow Doom to get time to go, which helps to get Omega Red time to go. And of course, Super Scroll, who goes with negative effects on his team and gets faster with positive effects on the opponent's team. So if you try to come in here with a Superior 6 against Super Scroll, that doesn't work. Superior 6 starts with a lot of offensive goodies, and Super Scroll just loves that and eats it up. So there's one Master Key team down. MOE just fails against this flat out, and the New Warrior, same thing. It's those positive effects on the spawn that are giving the Super Scroll so much speed. All these threats in here really just does some damage. However, there is a team that beats this really efficiently. Luckily, until now, Let's Go hasn't encountered anyone who has figured this out, but the team is APOC, Weaver, Nova, Cable, and Emma. None of them spawn with offensive points above their head. Weaver has a baseline speed of 126, and she opens with a trauma stun on Super Scroll, who has a baseline speed of 124. So Weaver goes first, wins that matchup. Trauma stuns Super Scroll. Now, of course, one or the other could be resisted, and then this team's going for a ride. But if she lands the trauma and the stun on Super Scroll, then you have Nova and APOC to just delete people. And then the team falls apart pretty easily. Of course, you could still lose your Cable and Emma for some points there. But that's the way to beat this one. Sorry, Let's Go. I hope no one watches this video for your case, but I hope everyone in the world watches it for me. And that's the thing. We really like this, though. It's new, and we're seeing that at his level, it's working really, really well. People are wasting very good teams trying to beat this and failing miserably. And so that's a really good thing to do. Not to mention, this in conjunction with some of the other teams are soaking up a lot of really good offensive teams. I mean, even if you're not using APOC, Weaver, and Nova, you know, even though those are like a Master Key team or whatever, that's still those are really good tunes that you have to put together to go in here and beat this. Not to mention your speed adjusting tunes for other stuff. Those aren't available for use either. So we like this. I think everything on this is fine. The ISOs, the placement, it's all good. So for me, I want to give this an A+. It may not be the best team in all of Marvel Strike Force to put in room 4, but for Let's Go and for a Diamond 1, I think it is the best thing he can do. Along with the creativeness of the rest of his defense, this is working really well. This shows that Let's Go understands what's going on in Crucible. They're devising things that are forcing their opponents to think about it, try stuff, and fail. He's making his opponents overthink things, and he's taxing their roster with this and everything else. You'll see there's like 3 places for Master Key teams, and right now we only have 3 Master Key teams, basically. And so this is a great team to throw in here. I really like this one. Also, Beta Ray Bill isn't really being used anywhere in Crucible right now, so he found a use for it. Vol's a tricky character to be using well, unless you're going to do like a Vol Doom comp that goes into things where Doom takes a platform ride, takes Vol along, and stuff like that. So I like the team is what I'm trying to say. All right, room 5. This is an unlimited extreme hybrid, and what we want to start doing is moving away from the unlimited side of it and pushing more towards the extreme side of it. We kind of want to just put in the extreme X-Men, drop Cyclops, and put in Rogue. It's kind of what we want to do. In room 5, Dazzler is redundant. This team is clearing negative effects, so who cares? You don't even need to bother ability blocking her or anything. In fact, her clearing those negative effects is probably a bad thing because they're going to heal off of those. Cyclops is a little too slow on this. He's not really taking a turn. He is pinging, but it's not that effective, and a lot of the teams you come in have a lot of dodges, so maybe he's just kind of clearing dodges is all he's doing. Gambit's doing a lot more damage on his pings. So we like keeping Gambit in here, plus the synergy with the Extreme members. We like Forge in here for sure. Sunspot is not too amazing right now at these low stars that people are operating with him. Maybe he'll be a better choice when he gets bigger. He's kind of just like a lackluster fire chicken, to tell you the truth. So if you want to put in Fire Chicken, you can. Another good choice that just makes this team OP is throwing in Super Scroll. Because the big counter for this as it stands is the Superior 6. But once again, all those positive effects, you throw in Super Scroll, he goes nuts. And that counter no longer works. And so you got to really get creative. But of course, we'd be doing that at the detriment of Room 4 if we took Super Scroll off of that team. But if you want to throw Super Scroll on defense and you don't want to make that Room 4 team, this is a great place to put your Super Scroll in. So we like Rogue, we like Nightcrawler, we like Gambit, we also like Forge. We're just not really big on the rest of them. As this stands, it's not a terrible team, but it's not amazing either. I'm going to give it a B-. It's not too thrilling. But a lot of people are using these sorts of hybrid teams in their Room 5 on defense. You sometimes see this in Room 4 as well. And finally, in Room 6, we have a Gamma team. A-Bomb has the wrong ISO. Zero was explaining to us how Abomination can use just about any ISO with some sort of efficiency. You could make the full team healer. You could make him a fortifier to add to his already substantial 40% drain. It makes him like 70% drain or something like that. I don't remember. And that's pretty vicious. You could use him as a skirmisher just for flipping things. But Striker does nothing. We don't like Striker. That's a really bad choice. If you don't want to change his ISO, you could change the character, swap him out for a Dormammu. That forces your opponent to use the new warriors into this composition. There's a Doom Red Guardian composition that might still work, but it's probably going to run out of gas before it kills them the second time. So I wouldn't try that. In fact, I think I personally have had that fail on me. So it becomes a new warrior is the counter that you need to use. And if that's the case, now we're soaking up all these things. You know, you've got new warriors over here. You've got Superior 6 here. You've got your specialized APOC Weaver Nova with speed over here. This is going to be trash, so we'll throw in that Black Order. This is a kind of a wasteful thing to put on offense, and Eternals just efficiently beats it, so we're going to swap that out with an Infinity Watch, soaking up some points, and then over here, you're going to have like a Masters of Evil team. So everything's kind of assigned, and your opponent doesn't really have much choice, and if they don't stick to the script perfectly, it all unravels and falls apart. So we're doing some really good things here. Now on this Room 6, this is okay. I don't like the ISO. I'm going to give it a B-. I'd really like to see Dormammu in here and then change get Striker off of Abomination. I don't even understand why anybody would go with that. Other than Scopely has yet to tell us what basic counter assist does in game or on the website. Scopely, what are you doing? Tell Ty J and Toxie. I said, get to work, boys. Put that on the website, please. Okay. Remember, if you want to listen to the amazing content creators and community assistance members talk these out on voice with me and help me to understand what's going on, because these are really complex teams these days and very complex room rules, then be sure to join us live on Twitch. Links are in the description below. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We go over these defenses on Friday, although the list is getting so long that I'm having to start doing more of these during the week. And if you want your team featured on Defense Up, that link is down there below as well. Just contact me on Discord. I'll get you on the list and get you featured on Defense Up. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourself and others too. And I will see you next time. Bye.